Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest Manchester United news and West Ham preview in a game I think we all would agree Manchester United need to win. We've also got a potential shock bid for Elliot Anderson in January. Hear me out on this. We're going to talk about that instantly. But first of all, I've gone with a different approach to the preview. It's not that I'm not putting a team out against West Ham. I'm going to do it with you. I normally flash it up on the screen, so I'll do that with you in a moment. But look, let's start off with this story that came out from Mark Ogden in the ESPN today. Manchester United remain open to offers for players including Mainoo, Xerxes, Agati and Malacia, but allowing any of them to leave before the AFCON ends in January the 18th would leave Ruben Amorim's squad critically short. However, if the United hierarchy can unlock some funds, it could make a move for one of its key midfield targets, Anderson, Wharton, Baleba and Stiller, in January. The club anticipates its busiest period in the second half of the window once Mbeumo, Ahmad and Mazraoui return from international duty, freeing up space to complete a long-desired midfield enforcement. So Manchester United could be making a big move for a midfielder in the latter half of January. Now hold your horses. This could simply be a stalling tactic so that when we don't do anything in the first 3 weeks of the window, they basically get rid of 3 weeks of the window by saying, well, we said we wouldn't do that anyway. And in the last 10 days, we couldn't do it. The window's closed. I think you have to assume that that's the real story because that's Glazonomics. However, there is a theory I have, and I will credit Ben Jacobs for this. Elliot Anderson, if it is true that there is a clause that says he's available for 70 million or less, maybe that's active in January, maybe it's active in the summer, maybe we don't know the full detail of it. But people are saying that Nottingham Forest will not sell Elliot Anderson until the summer. If he has a clause that brings his price down below what they'd like to achieve in the summer, and you offer them more than what they can achieve in the summer in January, they're a club that isn't really going to do anything in the league this season. Okay, you've got the Europa League, but do you want to risk winning the Europa League with Elliot Anderson, or do you want to take an extra 10, 15, 20 million pounds than what you're going to get in the summer? They're not Spurs. They're not Newcastle. They're Nottingham Forest. They might take the money. They might take the money and go, look, Elliot Anderson's fantastic, but without Elliot Anderson, we're still pretty much the same team. So they might do it if there is a clause in the summer. And that's all I'm going to say. For the first time, I sort of look at that Elliot Anderson deal and go, well, Chelsea got Enzo Fernandes in January. Manchester City got Mamouche in January. Liverpool got Gakpo in January. You can do a deal in January. So, you know what? Let's wait and see. I'd love to believe this is true. I'd love to believe we're going to sign a key midfielder in January. And I think that's what the club should be doing. And we'll have to wait and see. But the theory still stands. If there is some sort of clause which makes his price cheaper than they'd like it to be in the summer, let's say he has a clause for 65 million, and Man United say, here's a deal for 80, it's 15 million pounds more halfway through a season where you're probably not going to achieve much anyway. It's 15 million pounds more. So maybe you do it. Maybe you do it. Maybe you do it, you know? And maybe Man United should try it because God knows we need to. That's just my 2 pennies worth. Give me yours. Okay, we can come back to that. Let's talk about West Ham. Huge game for Manchester United against West Ham on Thursday night. It's Tuesday night at the moment. Let's have a quick look at what the league table looks like first. Now, I am live a little bit early tonight because I'm live on That's Football tonight and tomorrow night at 7:30. There is a 7:30 game and 8:15 game, so that's why we're doing that. But all these games are really relevant because at the moment we're 7th place. Let's say we did beat West Ham. And can I just say, and I will say, yes you can, we should beat West Ham. Don't feel ashamed for saying Manchester United should beat West Ham. All right, Nuno's got them well organised, but they're still pretty crap. And they're still, you know, they don't have the players we've got. I know we all get all submissive and go, oh, don't jinx it. We can't jinx it. You know, we can bloody jinx it. It's MC Hammer time. It's Hammer time. It's Hammer time. What? Hammer time. Yeah, it is Hammer time. We should be hammering them. But they don't have the players we've got. Jared Bowen's a decent player. Paquetá's a decent player. He won't be playing. We've got Cunha. We've got Mbeumo. We've got Bruno. We've got Ahmad. We've got better players than them. We're playing at Old Trafford in front of 75,000 fans. It's not wrong to say we should be winning this game, and we should be winning it. And if we did win it, we'd go to 24 points. Villa have got to go to Brighton, so that cancels those two out. Sunderland have got to go to Anfield. That cancels them out. Even if Liverpool beat Sunderland, we should still be ahead of them on goal difference. Palace are already behind us. Chelsea, Man City and Arsenal are somewhat irrelevant because I think they're the three best teams anyway. There is a world where Manchester United could be fourth on Thursday night if the results go our way. Let's say... Actually, I don't think there is. No, there isn't. Scrub that. No matter what, Villa or Brighton will be above us because if they draw, Villa will be on 25. If Villa lose, Brighton will be on 25. So, yeah, we can't be fourth. But we could be fifth. We could be fifth on Thursday night, and that's progression from seventh. So the league table always has to be a big part of this, certainly. So I'm going to pick my team in a moment, but let me just talk to you about the West Ham side and give you a bit of facts about, bit of meat on the bone why you should be confident. So Manchester United's home record this season was quite good until we lost to Everton. We're 9th in the league for home form, 4 wins, 2 losses. The good thing about that is that we don't draw. We've scored 11 goals, we've conceded 7. Contextually, Man City have conceded 6 at home. We've conceded 7. Amazingly, Fulham have only conceded 3 goals at home. Arsenal 2. So, yeah. But goal scoring wise, 11's not too bad. Aston Villa have scored 11. Brighton have scored 12. Bournemouth have scored 10. Liverpool have scored 10. So we're scoring, we're averaging 6 games, 11 goals. We're nearly at 2 goals a game, which I think, as I say, the Everton game ruined that. If we'd scored against Everton, we'd be above 2 goals a game. So we are doing quite well in that context, albeit the Everton game hurt us a little bit. If we'd beaten Everton, we'd be 5th in the league for home form. West Ham's away form isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, actually. They're currently 13th in the league for their away form. Wolves, Leeds and Burnley, bottom 3, do have the worst away record. Brentford, Fulham, Bournemouth, Forest, and then it's West Ham. They've only won 1 game away from home this season. They've drawn 2 and they've lost 3. They've conceded 10 goals and they've scored 7. So they're not, they're not big scorers, West Ham. Even their home form, they've only scored 8 goals in 7 games. So I feel that this West Ham goal, from a prediction point of view, you're very much looking at a side that's probably only going to score 1 goal. So if we do what we can do, then I think we score 2 goals and we win the game. And look, we were poor against Crystal Palace on Sunday. I mean, part of the preview is to look back, and I thought we were crap against Palace. It's a great result. Good result. Great result. Well, no, it's a great result. To win against Crystal Palace, contextually, is a great result. But we didn't play very well. So I think that even though we didn't play very well, I do think that we scored 2 goals again. And I think that is always something that's a positive. So in relation to the team, there are some big things in the team. How do you go? What do you do with Yoro? What do you do with Cunha? So Lemens in goal, obviously. I don't think Maguire's going to be fit enough to play, so I'd count Maguire out. I'm doing a predicted 11 here, so I think he will pick Dalot there. I don't agree with it, but I think he will pick Dalot there. Obviously, I think Luke Shaw will play. I don't think he'll start Martinez. I think De Ligt will play. I think Mazraoui will play, and I think Mazraoui will come in here. I really do think that Ahmad's going to play right wing back. Obviously, we know it'll be Bruno, well, not Ugarte. It'll be Bruno, but it won't be there. It'll be there. It'll be Casemiro there. And then the front 3 gets quite interesting. Tariq says Martinez will start 101%. I don't think he will. Because to start Martinez, you've got to bench Luke Shaw, and I just don't see that happening. I think Martinez will get a good half an hour, but I don't think he'll start him. So what do I think he will do? I think he will go Mount, but not there. I think Mason Mount will play here. And Burmo will obviously play, but not there. He will go there. And I think he will go with Xerxes, but not there. He will go there. And that is my predicted lineup. I think Cunha and Martinez on the bench. Now, look, some people might say that's a bit harsh. I would like to see Cunha starting. However, I don't disagree with that sort of a stance whereby you say you've got to earn your place back into a winning team. It's not necessarily the end of the world to not start Cunha, because who are you going to drop? You're going to drop Xerxes, whose goal in a game where we were poor got us back into it, or you're going to drop Mount, whose goal won us the game in a game we were poor. So I don't expect or think that he will start Cunha. And ultimately as well, I think it's a nice thing as a manager when you know you've got a really good player who essentially is looking at the game and going, I'm hungry to play. So that if United did start like Everton, he knows he's got Cunha who's going to come on and be hungry. So I think it's a win-win to not put Cunha in the team if you're Ruben Amorim, and keep him, a little bit, further back, if that makes sense. I'm just having a quick look here at something that's just coming in. Chris Wheeler says that neither Casemiro nor Maguire has a concrete offer on the table at the moment, although United still have time to stop them from leaving as free agents in the summer. I wouldn't stop either of them, to be honest. I'd say thank you very much and goodbye. They're going to have a Christmas party this year. So Jim Radcliffe cancelled it last year, but they're going to keep it going this year. Barcelona are unsure about Marcus Rashford. Terry was talking about that earlier on. Man United have put a Christmas party advert out in Christmas jumpers. This club. Ahmad says, we're a different team now. The atmosphere is positive in the dressing room. It's much better than last season. We want to do better, and I can promise that we will do better. Well, you can't promise that, but I hope you're right, mate. I think they also said, win the league, why not? I mean, it's great to have high aspirations, but, we're not playing good football, and we need to play a lot better. And then Burmo says, you come to Manchester United to win titles, and the Premier League is one of them, so why not? Why not win the Premier League, says Ahmad. Dreaming is not forbidden. No, I completely agree. So yeah, look, that's how I was just checking some news there. So that's how I would line up. Sorry, that's not how I would line up. That's how I think Amorim is going to line up in this game on Thursday. And I'm not allowed to predict what I think will happen in the game. So I will say, you have to win. You have to win these games of football. There's nothing wrong with saying that you have to beat West Ham at home. West Ham at home, Bournemouth away. Sorry, West Ham at home, Wolves away, Bournemouth at home. 9 points, and we're in a really good position. I think we'd be in the top 5 going into the Christmas period. So, look, I think the Crystal Palace result may have been a little bit fortuitous. I spoke to a few people over the last 2 days, and most of them, including the manager, I haven't spoken to the manager, have acknowledged that Crystal Palace being tired played into our hands. But look, we do deserve a bit of luck. Catching Crystal Palace, one of the in-form teams, tired, you've got to take advantage of that, and we did. We didn't take advantage of Everton. We have to take advantage of West Ham. I think the interesting thing about West Ham is that they will play a low block, though. And I think this is something that we do have to discuss. They will play a low block, and I don't look at that West Ham side with any fear. I think Jared Bowen's a decent player, but I don't think West Ham have very good players. I don't think they replaced Kudos. Paquetá won't be playing. They're a side that away from home everybody should be expecting to beat them. Burnley should be expecting to beat them. So I think I think Everton are better than West Ham. So this is a really big opportunity for United, and it's certainly one that I think we will take. Without me predicting we're going to win easy or anything like that. But it is hammer time, and we need to hammer them. It'd be nice to boost the goal difference, but to be honest with you, if we play crap, just make sure you win the game, because we can't afford any step backs. You're playing a Liverpool. You're playing Liverpool. You beat them. You lose to Everton at home. We've beaten Chelsea at home. We've had some good results, and we've had some strange results. And look, if I was Nuno, I'm not giving away any trade secrets here. If I was Nuno, I would come to Manchester United. I would play a back 4. I don't think you need to play a back 5. I'd play a back 4, a midfield 5, and 1 up front. And I'd say, come and hurt us. And I'd have a back four with a right back, a left back and two centre backs. I'd have a midfield three that's very compact, and I'd have two quick players out wide and one player up front, and I'd look to counter. That's what I'd look to do. Casemiro's not suspended. Dorgu's not suspended. They're on 4 yellow cards, so they're not suspended yet. I mean, that's going to happen at some point. I mean, I suppose the question is, what game would you want Casemiro to be suspended for? Ideally, probably this one. I don't really want him out of the Bournemouth game. So, he's not suspended for the... He's going to be suspended for either Wolves or Bournemouth. And in a way, I don't want him suspended for Villa when we won't have Mbeumo and Ahmad and Mazraoui. So I think Wolves away might be the game for him to pick up the yellow card. And he will do. He'll get a yellow card at some point. But I would say, ideally, he would have missed this one. However, I think that I'd rather go Wolves away, really. I really hope we get Pulisic, says Alex. Thanks, Alex. You're our only super chat tonight. Early show, so well done. You've got the... You know, last night you may have been ridiculed, but tonight you are the super chat of the evening, no matter what. So well done to that one. What's this about Anderson, Mark? Okay, I spoke about it at the start of the show. Effectively, there's been a lot of story about Man United prioritising a midfielder and one of their key midfielders. So effectively, Mark Ogden in ESPN is saying that if Manchester United can offload some players in January, then they want to go big on one of their midfield targets, whether it's Wharton, Stiller, Baleba or Anderson. That excites me. It's just whether it's true. I am a firm believer that if you want Baleba or you want Anderson or Stiller or Wharton, don't wait till the summer. Don't wait till the summer, because let me put it like this. Let's pretend Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool all like those midfielders. That's 4 clubs with a bigger budget than us looking at a player that we want. You then might have an Aston Villa in the Champions League. You might have a Newcastle in the Champions League who also fancy an Elliot Anderson or an Adam Wharton and can offer them Champions League football. And maybe a Real Madrid or a Barcelona does as well. So you wait till the summer and other clubs' circumstances could change. You move in January and other clubs might not know their situation. They might not be able to bid. They might not think they need a midfielder. The difference about waiting till the summer is clubs that don't think they want a midfielder now might need one in the summer. But we need a midfielder now. We needed one last summer. So you've got to act like Chelsea. You've got to go, look, we want Enzo Fernandez. If we wait till the summer, Real Madrid could be there. We want to get him now. We've got to behave like Chelsea. We've got to go, look, we want Elliot Anderson. We're sure about it. Let's bid. Or we want Angelo Stiller. We're sure about it. Let's bid. Of course, it's not going to be an easy deal, but the modern football club in the Bundesliga or the Premier League, they might have a reason to take a price. You know, some people are quite grown up about it. If you hit our price, we'll do the deal. Some of them might say we're not going to wait till the summer. But the thing about it is, we talk about the João Gomez's, we talk about the Conor Gallagher's, and there's no doubt about it. I'd rather that than nothing. And they are very much available in January. But why not get the player that you want in January? Why not put the bid in? I mean, I think Forest would do a deal. I think Palace might do a deal. I think Brighton would be stupid not to do a deal. And I think Stuttgart might do a deal as well. I mean, Stuttgart sold Volta Maida right before the start of the season and didn't have enough time to even replace him. The bid was good and they took it. So, you know, Coleman says, are there any outward-forward movements you can see? Well, the interesting thing is, if you take the Mark Ogden piece and what everybody else is saying as gospel, it very much says about offloading players. The only player I think we can offload in January that brings money in is Mainoo. And the question, therefore, is, would you sell Mainoo to allow yourself to buy Anderson? I'm going to run a poll. Because that might be what United look to do. Would you sell Mainoo to get Anderson? And some people are saying yes, but you know, you can answer that in a moment, because I think that there's no part of me that's not going to say that's sad. There's no part of me that's going to say that that's a shame. There's no part of me that's going to say I think that's you know, a good thing. I think it would be very sad to sell a 20-year-old who's never been given a chance by Amarin for somebody else. But sad doesn't mean it's not right. If Amrim says, I don't want to use this player, I want my own players, then that's what you need to do. But I would be sad by it. But there's no point keeping Mainoo just because we like him if the manager doesn't. And I think over 12 months, it's very clear that for whatever reason, and I've got to say, we don't always find the answers in football. I would love to know what it is about Mainoo that Amrim doesn't like. Is it because he's slow? Is it because he doesn't suit his style of play? Is it a personality clash? But he didn't like him last season, and he doesn't like him this season. So part of me said, well, I said this morning. People say, let's loan him, and if he does well, we can bring him back. How many players go off on loan that a manager didn't like and then come back and get used? I think this is a pathway to him. I think if Amrim stays as manager, Mainoo won't be a Man United player in 2 years' time. I don't see it. I just don't see a pathway back. So maybe Man United will look at that in January and go, look, there's always a time, isn't there? There is always a time, whether it's manipulation of emotion or whatever, you can change the emotion of this fan base, and the Glazers have been brilliant at it for years. They shouldn't be here. How have they managed to survive? It makes absolutely no sense, but they are. So when I look at the Garnacho situation a year ago, not many people did want him to go. We thought it was a disgrace to sell young players because we weren't about selling young players. By the summer, Amrim had manipulated that position. Garnacho had caused that situation, and he was gone. A year ago, everyone would have gone mad about selling Mainoo. Now, people are saying, yeah, let's do it to get Anderson. So you can manipulate a situation if you behave the right way. And maybe this has just been a long-term plan to get him out of the club. I don't know. Because if we tried to sell Mainoo in the summer, I think people would have gone mad. How do you make it okay to sell Mainoo? You don't pick him? And look where we end up. I'd much rather sell Bruno and let Mainoo go on loan, says Gypsy Danger. Anderson will be a starter. Mainoo is not. Fact, says Ayus. Mainoo doesn't play long balls like Bruno and Casemiro, says Shahin. And why don't you have them both and sell Casemiro, says I Swallow. And are we linked with Mora from Porto, says Emil. No. And Mainoo Baleba swap loan plus Anderson a man can dream, says Pierre. Gav says tickle tickle. I don't know what this is all about, so it's a joke among yourselves. The annoying thing is every time we get a chance to go up the table, when others do crap, we bottle it. Everton really pissed me off. Just need wins, says Damien. Yeah, I mean, look, just going back to the West Ham game, that we can't have that situation. We have to win this game. Absolutely. But look, going back to what we were talking about there, I've heard absolutely nothing about it. I don't think it's going to happen, but I genuinely think Brighton get the better deal if they swap Baleba for Mainoo. It doesn't mean they'll do it, but Brighton will not want to give Baleba up cheaply because look at what they did with Caicedo. Look at what they've done with other players. So they won't want to give him up cheaply. But if you take Mainoo, he's younger than Baleba and he's British. That makes him more valuable. If Mainoo went to Brighton and did really well, in 18 months, he's worth 80, 90 million pounds because he's British and he's young. So, look, I've not heard anything about it, but to me, it's just such an... I mean, he wants to leave Brighton. They know that. His value is plummeting. He's not playing well, and he's not even being picked. Mainoo plays in his position and he's desperate for a chance. If I'm Brighton, I'm on the phone and I'm going, look, we'll do it for Mainoo. And I think he'd fit straight into their team, like Gav says. So I've heard absolutely nothing about it. It's completely a theory, but I do believe Brighton get a good deal out of that. Arguably the better deal. And look, if United... I wouldn't do it, by the way. I'm very worried about Baleba. But if Amrim wants Baleba and United want Baleba, then why would you not be offering that situation up? Even better if you can do it as a loan deal. But why would you not? Why wouldn't you? Wharton's also 5'10", but Stiller is almost as tall as Sesko. He's not that tall, but he is taller than that, Lawrence, yeah. Mora already plays for United in my career mode, says Carlo. Thank you very much for that. What is Baleba playing horribly on purpose to lower his price for United? Well, if Baleba is playing bad on purpose to lower his price, we shouldn't go anywhere near a player that would do that, because why would he not do it to us in a few years' time? I don't think you should be going anywhere near players that do that sort of stuff. Daniel Thompson says, I don't want to see Mainoo go permanently, only a loan, but it might unfortunately come to that, but I really hope not, says Daniel. Stiller plus Baleba is the best midfield in my opinion. What's your thoughts as football with edits? My personal favourite Manchester United midfield is Anderson and Stiller. Anderson on the right, Stiller on the left. Let's go. I think get rid of Bruno, get rid of Casemiro, Stiller, Anderson, and I think we're cooking. I really do. I think Stiller is going to be. I don't think we'll get Stiller. I think he'll end up somewhere like Real Madrid and be brilliant. And I think Anderson will end up being really good wherever. So I don't think we'll get either of them as a guess, but I would like both of those two. I think if you had a midfield two of Stiller and Anderson with the team we've already got, I think we really could be quite optimistic about where we're heading. There'd still be more work to do, but we'd have a midfield. I don't think we really appreciate just how crap our midfield's been for a long time. I mean, it wasn't that long ago where Ten Hag's midfield was being ridiculed by Mr. White Trainer's Carragher, jumping around, telling us how much space there was in the midfield. So I long for the day where we have a midfield that we can be proud of. But not only that, we'll be a much better team. Whatever we've achieved over the last 5 years, we've done it with a crap midfield. All the cups, whatever's been good and positive, we've done it with a crap midfield. So imagine what we can do with a good midfield. Not only doesn't Amorim develop young players, he actively gets rid of them. This manager is doing more damage than Ollie did, says Shahin. And Ayu says, I see Anderson as the perfect CDM to play with Bruno. He can cover up on Bruno, good carry of the ball, forward passing, no silly long balls. I think it's a hard job to stick Caicedo in Man United's midfield next to Bruno. I still think that you're asking a lot of one player. I think we need two, but I don't think we can wait for the summer to do it either. I think we've got to do it now. The thing is, if Mainoo played the way he did for his last season, we would be desperate for him. We did not develop him right. He has the talent and the attitude. It's difficult to blame the lad at all, says Sanju. I completely agree. Casemiro is 6'1". That's the minimum. Federer, Djokovic and Nadal all that high. Murray taller. We're playing football, not tennis. Swears that anyone who says Amorim destroys youth needs to Google Kenda, says Tyron. And I'd sell Casemiro, Bruno, Shaw, Agate before Mainoo, says Angel. Do you think Lacey will be given his debut on Thursday, says Vigo? I think in relation to Lacey, Amorim is just waiting for that opportunity where he can use him. Like if we'd been 3-0 up against Everton with 20 minutes to go, I think he would have been used. If we're 3-0 up against West Ham with 20 minutes to go, I think he'll use him. I just don't think he's had the circumstances to do that. We were losing to Everton and the Palace game was tight. So I don't disagree with that either. I think it's an intelligent way to manage because, you've got to manage the development of a young player and he's on that bench. I think we're just all waiting for him to get used. 7,500 of you watching and we're not even in the normal slot. Absolute legends. Thank you very much for tuning in. Look, as I said, it's the first we've really been allowed to think we might go for one of our key targets in January. That's how a big club behaves. I don't know why we don't do it. Like, the more you think about it logically, if you put a decent offer on the table to Nottingham Forest or Palace or Stuttgart or Brighton, why would they not think about it? It might be a flat no, but it might be, well, that money's good money. We could utilise that money now. We might not achieve that money in the summer. We might be able to use that money in January. So you don't know what the financial situation is with some of these clubs, and getting it in this financial year might be quite good for them. And as we said, some of these players might have release clauses. Some of them might have clauses that will make them cheaper in the summer than what they'd be in January. So there is opportunities there. It's just about, are we that club to aggressively try and make those opportunities come true? I hope we are. Fantastic show tonight. 66% of you would sell Mainoo to get Anderson. 34% of you wouldn't. Begrudgingly, I would, because I know Amorim doesn't rate Mainoo. If I was the manager, I wouldn't do that because I'd be playing Mainoo. But in the world that we live in, the reality, why would I not sell Mainoo to get Anderson when we're not using Mainoo? So begrudgingly, I don't like it. But in the world we live in, why wouldn't you do it? It's obvious. Okay, I'm live on That's Football in 5 minutes, so I will see you over there. Double header tonight. We've got Fulham against Man City. Come on, Fulham. And we've got Newcastle against Spurs, which I think will be a goal fest. So get yourself over to That's Football for all the football conversation. I'll see you there in a few minutes. Thanks everyone who tuned in early tonight. It'll be the same again tomorrow night, but I'm back at 10 a.m. with you tomorrow as well. Fantastic show. Take care, everyone. Speak to you all in a bit. Thanks for watching.